Today, as I take this opportunity to speak directly to all our stakeholders here, particularly job seekers, I would like to share my reflections on 5 key aspects about how, as a government, as a lead agency, we are rethinking jobs, career, and pathways in keeping with the rapidly evolving and changing labor market. First point. Number 1, we have increasingly now gained a deeper insight and now understand that jobs are not the problem, but the transition from school, colleges, universities to labor market is taking longer. And that's resulting in, as we have pointed out, the staggering 17.8% youth unemployment, while the overall unemployment rate of 3.2% is quite normal. And it reflects quite positively on our economy. So therefore, these statistics tells something very important. 3.2% unemployment, 17.8% youth unemployment. The challenge today, like I said, is not the absence of jobs alone, but the longer transition period that's taking, added on with skills mismatch, and most importantly, among our young job seekers, ever rising expectations. And how, as an institutions, as an important stakeholders, how we are preparing them, making them ready for the changing world of work, how they are ready and fit for what the current labor market demands. And let's remember ourselves and remind that young people these days are not just asking, where can I find a job? They are now asking, what skills do I need? What choices do I have? And then, what kind of future am I preparing for? So, all of us together, let's remind ourselves that these are very much legitimate questions arising from genuine concerns. And that is why our response must go beyond short-term placements. We should focus on transition, preparedness, and offering them enriching, meaningful career pathways. And this is precisely why the government and the ministry in particular have adopted what we call the 3 gems approach. Firstly, we are building a vibrant startup and entrepreneurial ecosystem to expand and then offer much wider choices. And secondly, we are accelerating meaningful and productive employment placements through what we have, the system called employment responsibility system, where we make sure it's a whole of economy and whole of government approach. And thirdly, strengthening our labor market intelligence through platforms such as BLMIS, so that our young people know and are up to date and informed so that they can make intelligent, good, informed choices about the decisions they make early on. So altogether, these strategic approaches, we hope, will enable our young people, job seekers, to shift the focus, as highlighted here, as the theme of the job fair. And the second point, important, let me make it clear. Our commitment, government's commitment, is not just to create jobs for statistics. Our commitment is to create meaningful employment, jobs with dignity, productivity, and learning and growth. By 2029, which is the end of the 13th five-year plan, our objective is to achieve full employment at employment rate of 97.2, thereby keeping the unemployment rate around 2.5%, and the most ambitious target of all is to bring the youth unemployment below 10%. These figures reflect and ambitions, targets reflect how serious as a government we are, and as a stakeholder here we ought to be. It is not just unemployment, by the way, is not just an economic issue. We know it is a social, it is a psychological, and it's a national concern, especially when our youth are involved and when it affects our youth. And that said, I'm happy to share what is important for us to reflect on, the third important point. And as a society, we are happy, we take pride in saying that His Majesty's vision give our youth that readiness and choice. Today as we gather here, we are reflecting on how to skill our youth, how to give different career pathways. We must acknowledge how fortunate we are to be guided by His Majesty's vision for our youth. Through 𝐷𝐴𝐻𝐸𝐶 and 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐸𝐿, our young people are being equipped with discipline, national service, resilience, and the foundational skills required in the ever-evolving labor market. Building on this, we all as well know that Pelsung envisioned within the Gelefu Mindfulness City represents a very bold national investment in the specialized skills, leadership, and high-value human capital. Together, these initiatives ensure that our youth are not left alone to navigate the future. They are being prepared physically, mentally, professionally for the world that demands greater adaptability and purpose. And this is what makes all of us, particularly me and my colleagues in the ministry as the lead agency, ensure that we lead the way to make sure whatever program and policy strategies we implement are in line with this very vision. And it is incumbent on all of us, therefore, to make sure we do our part. And then that brings us to the fourth important point we should reflect on. The fact that jobs come from a strong job-creating economy. We have the 21st Century Economic Roadmap, which is our nation's 10x national economic vision. We do have the Industrial Development Roadmap. As a sector, as agencies, we have respective 10x visions. Now, at the end, how successful each one of us becomes is the true signal, is how we achieve that objective of full employment, ensure meaningful career pathways for our youth, how we together move from low productivity job to quality careers, and how as well make sure that all the jobs and opportunities that we are creating are not just Thimphu, Paro, or Phuentsholing or urban centric, but ensure that all Dzongkhas equally have those options. Because one job, we believe, as we adopt the entrepreneurial mindset, we understand that one job leads to many other. It do have the multiplying effect. As we focus more on entrepreneurship through services, medium, small, micro enterprises, logistics, and the whole sphere of our economy. And these are not distant, by the way, goals. These are very much achievable. The private sector, we know, is already taking on, the private and corporate sector already stepping forward and demonstrating that potential that the public sector opportunities are getting saturated. And as a matter of fact, we do have one acknowledgement in the program lineup where we recognize the leading private and corporate sector who have created good amount of job opportunities in the last fiscal year. Last year, what gives us confidence is that while we say public sector jobs are getting saturated, private sector got to gear up, we have a very inspiring, motivating experience from about 12,000 or so job seekers who registered on our system. We delivered 8,000 plus jobs, and amongst that, I guess between about close to 80% are in the private sector, private and corporate. So this gives us the confidence that these whatever objectives we are articulating here, are thinking, are not distant goals. That these are very much within our grasp. As a ministry, we are serious about this. All said and done, it is our responsibility to make sure that we translate those visions and objectives into action. And as a good start, today we are launching the National Career and Occupational Framework 2025 for the tourism and hospitality sector. This is a very good beginning. We at the ministry feel, because tourism and hospitality sector is one of Bhutan's most scalable and job-creating sectors, job-rich sectors. This framework going forward will bring skills, service quality, career progression, and most importantly, talks a lot about how much they are paid. At the end, pay matters. How much they earn matters. Thereby altogether making tourism jobs much more attractive, dignified, and retainable. And as we gain experience, this approach will be extended to other sectors, using smart policy to generate meaningful employment. Now all said, my final point, how do we prepare ourselves together mentally? How do we ensure that shift in mindsets as the leading stakeholders? So therefore, these sets example, right path for our young job seekers. For that matter too, we are also launching today the Emo Demo game, entrepreneurship, a game-based learning tool that builds entrepreneurial mindset through experiences, not theory. We all know entrepreneurship, the call from the highest level, exemplified in the E2B, we so-called the enlightened entrepreneurial bureaucracy. All of us have been internalizing this vision and ensuring we are at our own level translating those into program and policy actions. Because we know that at the end, if we want entrepreneurial outcomes, we must start with entrepreneurial mindset, and that begins early on. These new strategies are for our young people, because that mindset got to start early on. And as a matter of fact, today's theme at the job fair is also about the future. With that call, the very event that we are inaugurating today, how my colleagues in the ministry and our partners have curated this program layout, the exhibition booths, all the different elements of this program will make sure that this job fair is not just about vacancy slot exhibition. It is altogether, we are attempting to create a career ecosystem here so that it brings together the employers, training providers. We do have universities. We do have from initiatives such as 𝐾𝐽𝐿, the 𝐷𝐴, and altogether it demonstrates one simple truth, that employment is a national responsibility. It is we all know it is an outcome of a functioning, resilient economy, and our shared success lies in how effectively we work together. to our employers. As you participate here, you are helping us, you are helping our young generation, the future, shape their careers, not just filling those positions. And to our younger people, it is about the choices and then the options, different career pathways, guidance, all of us here together offering you. To everyone here, I thank you for joining us on this important occasion.